Hey guys, thanks for joining me with Learn to Play Games. We're here at Gen-Con 2017. This is the beginning of day 3. I'm here with Monolith Games and Edmund, and we're going to be taking a look at their brand new Batman game. So, can you tell me a little bit about what this is going to be like?
Sure. Hi guys. So this is a miniatures board game for 2 to 5 players.
Okay.
It plays around 60 to 90 minutes. It's a one versus many game.
Okay.
So you have one player who will play the villain, actually controlling characters like Bane in this scenario, or the Joker, or the iconic villains of the Batman universe.
Sweet.
He will play against the heroes. Will play together. We'll play, of course, characters like Batman.
Yeah, absolutely.
Red Hood, Catwoman, Huntress, Batgirl, Batmoon will have all the heroes of the Batman universe.
Very cool.
And they will play back and forth, trying to achieve their own objective given by the scenario, because the game is scenario based.
Okay. And so it looks like this is based loosely on some of the same concepts that Conan was. So what is going to be a little bit different than, have you guys made any changes besides Conan?
Yes,
okay.
Of course, yeah, it is the same base system, the THS, created by Frédéric Henry, but it's actually version 2.0 of the system.
Okay.
We've learned a lot from Conan, and we have made a lot of enhancements to the game, a lot of fixes that we brought into Batman that weren't in Conan. So yes, there are many differences. I can go through them if you wish.
Sure.
Well, one of the base difference is that now the heroes don't die anymore.
Okay.
When you have all your gems, previously when you had all your gems in the wound zone, actually your character was dead in Conan. But now you can recuperate some gems and come back into play.
Nice.
And then in the future rounds, and maybe complete the scenario, make the last move to win the scenario. It's still possible to come back into the game.
Great. And I know for those of you that have watched my video on Conan teaching how to play, one of the things that I was kind of critical on was not being able to incorporate other characters into the scenario, and I know we talked about that earlier. So can you kind of just tell us what changes you've made with that?
It is still scenario based. We're still going with a game where you have to pick a scenario to play.
Sure.
It gives you kind of a plot of what the story is, because that's what we're trying to do with our game, is always to tell a story when you play it.
Absolutely.
It gives you the setup, where all the miniatures start, how your river is set up, etc. And in Conan, it gave you, you were mandatory to play with a certain roster of heroes. Now you can select with which one you want to play.
Nice.
Sometimes we will still fix a hero because the plots and the story revolves
around them. Yeah.
Around them, but other than that, you'll be able to maybe not go with Red Hood and choose Huntress to play with. So it gives you that flexibility and that replayability that you didn't have in Conan.
Great. So let's go ahead and jump behind the camera, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit more in depth of what this game is and what it looks like.
So, how does the game play? We are, as I said, in a one versus many game. So the player here will play the villain versus the hero, and everything revolves around this system of gems that we have. On the hero's sheet here, for instance, I have Batman set up this way at the beginning of the scenario. Okay, he'll get some gems in his available zone. Okay, these are the gems he will be able to use to perform actions like melee, range attack, guard, manipulation, intelligence check, because that's an addition from Conan to Batman. Now we have this new action available for the heroes, reroll and movement. The way this plays is that the hero is going to assign gems to the actions. So he will spend energy performing action during his turn. Those gems will go at the end of his turn in the fatigue area, and at the beginning of the next turn he will only recuperate a fraction of these gems based on the stance he chooses to be in. So this is kind of a system where the more action you perform, the more gems you're going to spend, and the less action you'll be able to perform in the future rounds. Okay? The cool thing about it is that when you get wounded in this system, you actually take gems out from your fatigue zone to your wound zone. So that's less gems for you to recuperate and less gems for you to be able to perform actions with. Okay? So that's kind of how the gems flow in this system. As I said, you'll be able to perform several actions. I'm going to explain how the melee attack works. So basically all the action works the same way. So for instance, if we have Batman here in the same area as an enemy, he'll be able to perform a melee attack on that character. I should point that everything that you see here is prototype. Okay, the board, the colors are not how they should be. The contrasts are not correct. These miniatures are resin, but they are very, very close to the final results you'll have in the box, and everything else is prototype. Okay, so let's go back to our example. If Batman wants to melee attack this guy, he's going to assign a certain number of gem to his melee attack action. Okay. And the number of gem that he assigns to that action gives the number of dice of that color he will be able to use to perform his attack. Okay? So if I give you kind of a sense of the range of power of the dice, you have 5 different dice of 5 different colors. Okay? And they go, well, let me put that the right way for the camera. From left to right, they go from weakest to strongest. Okay, so when you roll, you prefer to roll those kind of dice instead of these ones. Okay, so as we can see, Batman rolls red die when he performs his melee attack, so he's strong at melee attack. Red Hood, if we have a look at him, he attacks with orange, and Catwoman attacks with yellow. Okay, so already the color of the die gives you a sense of how the characters perform in these actions. So if we go back to our example, here Batman elects to assign 2 gems to his melee attack, so we'll roll 2 dice, and it will give him how many hits he will inflict to that character. Okay? It's as simple as that, basically, because at the end of the turn, these gems will go in his fatigue zone. And then you will be able, at the beginning of his next turn, to say whether he is active, he will recuperate 2 gems and be able to perform all the action, or is he inactive, he'll recuperate 6 gems, and he will only be able to defend. He will not be able to move, attack, or perform any other action. So basically, this is how it works for the heroes. On top of that, of course, they are not only heroes; they are superheroes. So they have many skills that allow them to perform better than the average Gotham City citizen. Batman, for instance, can use his grappling hook to move more easily around the map, to jump up in elevated areas. He has martial arts, which allows him to perform better in melee attacks. He has adrenaline, which helps him to perform better and get wounded to be able to perform better than what he should normally. So they have various skills. We're going to have many of them. And that really allows us to recreate the character as they are in the comics and to recreate them in the board game. Okay, so that is how the heroes play. What I should point out, which is very important in that system and really makes it flexible, is that the heroes play totally freely, which means that Batman can move, attack this guy, then Catwoman can move, try to eliminate that computer. Then Batman can play again to try and move and attack another guy. So it's totally free among the heroes to play as they want, up until the moment they don't have any gems left to spend, or they say we're going to keep some gems to defend from the attacks of the villain. Okay? So when they're done, the villain is going to play. Okay? How does this work? We still find this system of gems. Okay? We have a green zone here, which represent the available gems for the Overlord, well, the villain in this case. You have a red zone where the villain will place the gems he has used during his turn, okay? And the difference is that the villain is going to use those tiles to activate his units on the board, okay? Sometimes a tile represents only one character, in this instance Bane here. Sometimes a tile will represent many characters, like the Brute Shotgun. We have 4 of them on the board, so each time the villain will activate this tile, he will get to play with the 4 characters represented by this tile. Okay? The clever system that we have on this side is this activation system. Okay, you have tiles on certain position on the river. Their position is given by the scenario again. And so, for instance, if I want to play those guys, the Brute Shotgun, because I think that it's the best move at that point in the scenario, I'm going to check the position on the tile in the river. The tile is in 2nd position, so it's simple as that. I'm going to take 2 gems from my available zone and place them here. I take the tile, I place it at the end of the river and slide to the left the remaining tiles. So this means that if I want to activate again those brute shotgun, it now costs 7, and all the other tile cost 1 less to activate. So you'll have this kind of cycle in your tiles that you'll have to manage in order to make sure that you pay the tiles the cheapest possible when you want to activate them. Okay? So when you activate those brute shotguns, you have many characteristics on the tile, like the movement, the armor, the threat level, and the size of each of the miniature. You have some characteristics like the range attack, some special skills that these characters may have. So when the villain activates this tile, you'll get to play with each and every miniature represented by this tile on the board. One of the additions we've made from Conan to Batman is that now you're able to either move and then perform an action, or perform an action then move. So it gives that flexibility to the villain that the Overlord didn't have in Conan. And you get to play each miniature at a time. Okay, so you move with this one, you perform your action, for instance, shooting at Batman. Then you play the next one, shooting at another guy, etc., etc. And the villain gets to activate up to 2 tiles per turn. Okay, he has some, let's say, benefits he can use during his turn, like buying extra movement points for his units, guarding when they get attacked by heroes to try and defend them, and reroll. Again, this allows me to talk to you about one of the cool additions that we have in Batman versus Conan, is that now you have exertion limits on these benefits too, things that you didn't have in Conan. So it's not possible to stack up a whole bunch of gems and try to defend a guy and make it invulnerable. Okay? Now it's not possible anymore. You're limited to 4 gems per turn during your turn as a villain. Okay? So the villain is going to play his turn. Basically, we're going to play back and forth. In this scenario, we're going to play up until turn 6. Check how many of those C4 tokens are armed. If there are more than 2, the villain wins. Less than 2, the heroes win. And that's basically how the game plays. So yeah, one of the cool additions we've made from Conan to Batman also is that we fixed the issues that we could have with line of sights. We know that in Conan there are some doubts about line of sight. Sometimes they were kind of tricky to decide if you have line of sight on your enemy. So you still have this system where if you want to shoot at this guy, for instance, with that guy, I'll draw a straight line between the 2 dots. If there are no obstacles between the 2, I have line of sight, so this still works. Now what we've done is that when you want to shoot inside a building, you just have to check if you have a green line that separates these 2 areas. It means that you have line of sight from this area to this area, and from this area to this area. Okay, previously in Conan you had to draw a straight line, it had to go exactly through the door, so you have a line of sight. This is not the case anymore. You can shoot inside the building and outside as long as you have this green line between the 2 adjacent areas. Another thing we did is that we have fixed this issue of line of sight with elevation. If I take this example and this guy wants to shoot at this guy, I would draw a straight line between the 2 dots. Here, normally, I couldn't shoot because I have an obstacle between the 2, which is the subway. But the fact that this area is elevated, I actually see above the subway. How do we say this on the map? You have now some letters around those dots. As long as you have a common letter between the 2, it means that you have a line of sight. Okay, so in this case I have an A and an A. It means that I have line of sight between these 2 areas. Okay, so that's one of the things we've done in order to make sure that now the line of sight do not cause any problem anymore. You draw a line of sight. If you have no obstacle, you can shoot. If there is an obstacle, you cannot shoot, at the exception that you have the same letter on both areas, and it works exactly this way. Another thing we've done is that we've fixed another issue that we have with Conan, is that previously in Conan, you could stack miniatures in an area. As long as they fit in, you can place other ones. So, it causes sometimes issues. Do the miniature, is above the line, etc. Now we fixed this by adding some icons on the map. This means that I can put up to 4 size of miniature in that size. Okay, we'll have miniatures with different sizes. All these guys are size 1, but we can imagine that we have a clay face, for instance, So it's one miniature, but it is size 3, so it's going to take a lot of space in this area, for instance. So that's the fixes we've done on the map. Well, we hope it will help the game to be more fluid in the future.
And is that going to affect heroes as well?
Of course, the heroes also have a size associated to them. So yes, you also count the size of the hero on the specific area.
Well, thank you so much for taking us through that. This game looks really cool. As you guys would expect, those of you that have played Conan or seen Conan, Monolith does a fantastic job. Beautiful boards, stunning figures, great gameplay, and you guys are even tweaking the system even more. So this is going to be even a more solid game. I can't wait to take a look at this. For those of you guys that are watching, also, they are going to be launching their Kickstarter when?
Well, actually February 2018.
So we got the February 2018 launch.
Yep.
And for those of you guys that follow my channel as well, stay tuned. I will be doing a basic play video to take you guys through this and a good overview video so you guys can see what this game is all about during the Kickstarter as well. So you also were talking about that there's going to be like a scrimmage mode to this?
Yeah, actually this is one of the cool additions we've made, is that now we'll offer as an add-on the possibility to play a 1 versus 1 mode. Okay, so like a skirmish mode, a versus mode, that's the way we call it. In this versus mode, each player will have in front of him one of this dashboard. Okay, so the villain will still play the same way as the adventure mode, the other mode we have. But the heroes will also have this dashboard in front of them.
Oh, nice.
And they will be able to play the heroes just with the same system that we have here. So you know, it's more tactical, it's more, you know, you have more strategic in the way you're going to play. And the cool thing about it too is that we'll have a system of drafts. You'll be able to, you know, you still have a scenario that you're going to play through, but you'll be able to pick and mix which heroes you want to play and which villains you want to play. So you will have the system where you'll have to pick an HQ, you know, pick a lieutenant, pick an elite, things like this. But other than that, you'll be able to mix the Joker and Two-Face in front of Batman and Robin, you know, drafting the roster you want to go with.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
And it's going to be a really strategic play. We've added actually another layer of complexity to it. So it's going to be really, really great, and you know, really give the meat that some people didn't have in Conan.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a really a skirmish mode, really competitive.
Awesome, that looks really great.
Yep.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking us through this.
I can give you some more information about the Kickstarter,
yeah,
actually,
absolutely.
because I've been given the green light to give you some more.
Yes.
So yeah, the Kickstarter is going to launch on February 2018.
Okay.
Okay. We already have a range of how much it's going to cost for the core box. It's going to be around $130.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, what we did with Conan,
all right,
you'll have more than 100 miniature in the core box only.
Oh my goodness.
And remember, this is Kickstarter. So every time the funding progresses, you'll get some cool stuff as stretch goals.
Wow.
So for $130, you'll get a lot of cool stuff in the box, and on top of that, you have a solid and a great game.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Can't wait for that. I can't imagine the stuff you guys are going to unlock. Conan was fantastic, so I really can't wait to dive into this.
Just like in Conan, we're really trying to stick true to the original material. You won't be able to find anything about the video games or the movies in there. We stick to the comics, to the original material.
Very nice.
And we're really all Batman fans, so you're going to
It definitely
really,
shows.
Yeah.
These miniatures are stunning.
Yeah, they are.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. Stay tuned for that in February. Definitely look for this and follow my channel as well. I will have more updates on this as we get closer. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys later. And in the words of Batman, I am Batman.
See you guys.